I need responses. This is an interactive class. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Whoever is having noise at their house, please mute them. Rest you can speak. So today is the last scheduled class for this semester. So I'd like to complete 3 units at this last class. I want you to be fast in response so that we will be communicating at the same time, completing the lessons. So once again, I welcome you to the B.R. Ambedkar Open University online classes. This is psychology class and we are taking unit 9, perception. Yeah. So unit 9, perception. What is perception? Just remember this elephant, we'll get into that. We'll talk about it later on. So after this session, this unit, you'd be able to understand and differentiate between the sensation and perception, explain the phenomena of figure and ground and principles of perceptual organization, describe the depth perception and movement perceptions, and analyze perceptual consistencies, constancies, and explain perceptual distortions and identify influencing factors. Now, what is perception? Can you guess? We interact with the three-dimensional world filled with various objects, and our senses perceive them differently, and we rely on our senses, gather accurate information from our environment, and we have 8 senses. 1 second, it is troubling the screen. Yeah, we have 8 senses. Vision, hearing, smell, taste, touch, warmth, cold, and pain. And the 2 internal senses are vestibular and kinesthetic. Despite the general accuracy of our perception, we sometimes experience illusion or perceptions of reality, which can be vary among individuals, shapes our behavior and understanding of the external world. So I'll tell a small story. Few blind people who are educated by the teacher without giving them live experience. So once they encountered elephant and they touched different parts of the elephant, because they did not have touch and feel, they started interpreting this elephant. One caught the tail and he said it's a rope. The other one trunk, he said it's a big snake. And the person touching the tusk said it's an weapon, sharp weapon. And the person who is touching the ear said it's a big fan. And the person who's touching the body, he said it's a wall, thick wall, because they never had direct touch contact with the elephant until unless their teacher taught them and they encountered this and they finally understood this. Yeah. Once again, I brought you this image. What is perception? I've given you entire introduction, how we make perceptions, form perceptions. Perceptions are individual ideas, you can say. Perception is the organization, identification, and interpretation of sensory information in order to represent and understand the presented information. All perception involves signals that go through the nervous system, which in turn results from physical and chemical stimulation of sensory system. Okay. So to simplify it, perception can be defined as our recognition and interpretation of sensory information. All the processes involved in creating meaningful patterns out of a jumble of sensory impressions fall under the general category of perception. Who said is Charles Joris. And one more, Edmund Fantino said, perception is the organization process by which we interpret our sensory input. So it all depends from where you are looking at. It's subjective, how you process the information which is coming to you, how your senses are responding, and how your interpretation is. So can somebody tell me what is this?
Apple.
As soon as you saw it, what triggered your brain? What are the
Apple.
thoughts
Apple is moving.
apart from that?
Leaf.
Apart from that?
Small stem.
Well, that's okay. See, as soon as you have seen this, you have felt the taste. You're not tasting it, but you felt it. Information, where it is grown, how it is grown. It is not available in your location. It is from different place. You would definitely trigger Kashmir or somewhere else, right? Your perceptions are proper. Immediately you associate the linked information also. That's how perceptions are formed. Okay. Now, as I already told you, what is perception? Is simple. Previously, I've given you lengthy information, lengthy explanation. Now I cut it short. Organization of sensory information into meaningful experience. Meaningful experience should be formed. Comes from combination of sensation and past experience. As soon as I showed you apple, immediately you should or could have recollected the taste, where it grows, different colors of apples, that includes green or light pink, whatever colors, and which one is famous, New York apple, California apple, Kashmir. All these things you could have recollected, but you could express only few things. Now translating the stimulus into language and nervous system, that is neural impulses, comprehending the basic components of stimulus, size, shape, and color. If I show you a small, tomato size apple, will you immediately recognize it is an apple? You'll say it is looking like apple, but it is something else. I may camouflage it, but you will definitely say, sir, no, it is not apple, something else. So those are the perceptions you formed based on the sensory inputs you had, or you are having. Okay, we are organizing the components into understandable explanation. Now, this is an important thing you may get as a question in your exam too. So differentiation between sensation and perception. Just go through them because we'll be running short of the time, so I have to rush. So it is the primary mental process. First step in processing knowledge, perception, a complex process, and second step in process of knowledge. Sensation as meaningless. It is meaningless. Perception, meaningful. Sense organs have greater role. Brain has more active sensation. All these things you can go through. Once we complete this session, run the video again. It will be there in YouTube, and pause it and go through it. So these are the major differences between sensation and perception. Sensation is abstract mental process. Perception, concrete mental process. It has certain information put together. Right. Now coming to figure on ground. What is figure on ground? I've simplified it and kept it over here. A principle asserts that objects, that is figures, are identifiable against a backdrop, it is background, and they are inseparable. Look at the image towards your right. What do you see? Okay, it's taking time. I think you all muted it. Well,
Two men are there, sir.
very good. Very good. Very good. And don't you see something else too?
And middle like cup type.
Yeah, vase. You can say vase. Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Very good. Very good. So an example. Apart from this, I'll give you another example. White chalk letters, chalk piece letters. Nowadays, we are not using chalk piece. We'll be using, markers on whiteboard. Now we are talking about blackboard and white chalk. Don't you see letters come out from the black background? That is figure on ground. So in the white background, two faces can be perceived as the figure. Alternatively, the white space between the faces can be seen as a vessel. Right? That's what you said. Very good. And similarly, the moon pictures, mountains, and words are examples of the figure, while the sky, wall, cloud, and page serve as the ground. You put something behind it, you see different meaning. You can, create something different, right? Maintaining a balanced figure and ground relationship is vital and accurate perception. So, principles of perceptual organization. So, there's so many people who have given, different principles. We'll one by one go through. Now, perception involves in categorizing and finding patterns in our surroundings. This is known as perceptual organization, a process that systematically arranges incoming stimulus or stimuli into meaningful patterns. A process that systematically arranges incoming stimuli into meaningful patterns. Max Withermer said, the first person to outline the principles of this process. So what are his laws? He said, the laws or principles of perceptual organization. Gestalt psychologist. Gestalt means as a whole. In the first session, we discussed about it as a whole, put together. It's not a name. German word, Gestalt means put together. Everything combined together. Look at things as one, not separate. Okay, mainly Kohler, Kafka, and these people suggested that our brain naturally organizes perceptions. They establish laws that guide how we perceive objects and believe that the brain's electrical field are responsible for this organization. It is the brain's electrical field that is responsible for organization. We'll look at them systematically. What do you see here?
3 birds.
Very good. That's it. There are two more.
Roots.
Okay, you can see gorilla and a lion.
Okay.
You can see. You want to see it again?
Yes, sir.
Now check it. Well, that's okay. Here, this one, see. That's a gorilla.
Okay.
This one is a lion. Can you identify it?
No, sir.
See,
Now after you are saying, I can identify.
that's what. These are all the information coming to you. You have to, analyze your surroundings very keenly. Anyway, you'll come to understand all of all those. See, this I kept them, in a precise and a small form. You don't need to go through them. I'll show them, pictorially. There are about 13 perceptual organization principles. I've shown only 12. In your book, I think there are about 7 or 8. So these are very important. Just after completion of the session, you can, check the video, pause these things, and read them. These are all concise, right? Now, the first one, what I have showed you here, these things I'll be talking now. Yeah, emergence. This principle suggests that we identify whole object or pattern before recognizing individual components. For example, we might quickly recognize a picture of a dog before noticing individual features like ears, tail, color, breed, etc. Right? See, I'll show you. What is it? Response should be fast. What is it? Dog. Okay. Now I'll give you another example where it is used in entire world right now. What is it? Need to respond. Anyway, UX. You're not telling,
UX.
yeah, you're not telling small dot, big dot, larger dot, combined together UX. You're saying UX. Next also, whenever I ask you, immediately respond, please. Okay. Right. Now closure. Our minds tend to fill in the missing information to create a full cohesive image. This allows us to perceive complete figure even if it is partially hidden or incomplete. Look at this and respond faster, please. What do you see?
Square, circle, triangle.
Yeah, image is not clear, complete, but they are dotted. But you perceive
Yes,
it as square, circle,
and
triangle.
triangle.
Very good. Now check this. Read it immediately. Read it.
Invisible, invisible or invisible.
Very visible. Very good. See, there is no letter here. I mean, alphabet here, but you said invisible or visible.
Yes, sir.
As a whole, you have to check it. It's a cohesive, complete, put together strong image. Okay. Now coming to the next one, continuity. I have given different names also. If at all somebody asks you a question twistedly, just remember these names, continuity or continuation. The principle suggests that our eyes follow path and group elements aligned in a straight line or a smooth curve. Immediately you should respond. If I don't draw this blue line, don't you recognize this black line going down? Will you or will?
We can recognize, sir.
Yeah, very good. Now check this. These patterns are similar ones. Don't you understand this is going up? These arrows, look at these arrows going up, going down, and this line is continuing. Yeah,
Yes,
this is
sir.
called continuity.
Okay.
Just remember them. These things will be asked in your exam. Right. Proximity. What is proximity? Objects that are close to each other tend to be grouped together. Don't get confused with something else is also there. The difference I'll show you. Proximity. How about these 3 squares? Are they close?
No, sir.
When
They have
these,
gaps.
how about
They
this?
have to.
They're showing you, they're giving you some meaning, right? When they are put together, combined or close, proximity is closeness. They are giving some meaning. That is what I meant here. I mean, the Gestalt psychologist meant. Now the similar example, see, proximity, these are close, they look alike or they form something. What about the other one which is far away? Similarly, see, these blacks, they feel something, but these are isolated. Similarly, the other way, other things, pink, pink, gray, gray, like that. Okay. Now, figure on ground, we already discussed. Generally, it is called Rubin's vase when they tested it. So that is the reason I kept Rubin's vase here. The principle refers to perception of image in terms of their foreground and background we tend to focus on the figure and perceive the ground as one entity. Even ground ko bhi, we feel it as it is part of the image. I mean the figure. Right? Check the example now. Background, foreground. Right?
Yes.
Now, invariance, the principle suggests that subjects can be recognized regardless their orientation. This is very important. You will be seeing this every day. What is this you see? One object kept in various directions, orientations, elevation, plan, top, everything, but it is, you can identify it as single object. Will you or won't you?
No, sir. It is not a single object.
See, you can see this one, this, are they not? This one, these both are same or not? This one, see, these are same or not?
Same, sir.
These are different. So
Yeah.
that is the reason. Anyway, check this. How about now? It's a logo.
Same type, but different. Six are there.
Yeah, what I mean to say, if the object is same, but it is presented to you in a different manner, will you recognize the same or not? That is the principle of this. Regardless the position or, 1 second, regardless the orientation. अगर आप clock को लगाया, I have kept a clock somewhere, I'll tilt it in a different angle or 180 degrees. Won't you say it is a clock, and will you not recognize it?
Yes, sir. We can recognize it.
Yeah, that is what I meant to say. Imagine this as a clock, different positions, different shape. You are looking at different, but will you remember, see it as the same image or not? That is what I meant here. Okay, now good form. This is also known as law of good gestalt. The principle suggests that every stimulus pattern is seen in such a way that resulting structure is as simple as possible. You know this, right? You know this. It's an Olympic symbol.
Yes, sir.
Check this. You put them together. Don't you see some meaning in this? These are all different objects put together. You can see peacock here. Similarly,
Yes, sir.
colors combined, but they are different.
And colorful.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what many places, many logos are created like this. Gestalt psychology or principles are used everywhere. Similarity. I already told you about this. Similarity. What is the similarity here? These upper are
Gray
gray.
and blue colors.
Exactly. They are put together and their proximity is also applied here. Blue look something different, and these both are similar, gray and gray. That is what it is, kept separately, but still you feel them, they are similar, right? Check the example. See, pink, this one is black. These are similar, they are kept together. You can identify similarity and the colors. Okay. Now, what is this multi-stability? It's a nectar cube. This experiment used for creating illusions. I may show you the color one, but it doesn't make any difference. Using this, I can put a small person here and a elderly person over here, and this person who is 6 feet looks shorter than the person who is 3 feet if I place them here. It is a design where created for illusion. Okay. These things will not come to use unless and until you want to create some exhibition areas or somewhere they create this illusion house. Symmetry and order. This I have seen you. Anyway, symmetry. Okay, this is different. Symmetrical elements are perceived as belonging together regardless their distance. See, symmetry, This is different, but you can see they are far away, but still you feel they are symmetric. I'll show you example. Don't you see symmetry here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, of course you can.
It is there, sir.
Yeah. Common region. Elements located within the same closed region are perceived as group more strongly than the elements outside. Can you see there is a group?
Yes, sir.
Very good. This is group, right? So you feel these are perceived as group strongly close. But what about this? They are also similar, but they are not grouped with a box. So you
Yes.
feel this is close, these are not close, but they are placed equally. That is what this particular principle is meant. This is an example. See, I have kept a gray box here, a line, then I go and see. There is a black one, still you feel it's a group.
Group.
Exactly. So common fate. The principle suggests that we group together objects that have same tend to motion and are therefore on the same path. Look at these arrows. What do you notice?
First line are same path. Second line, both are different paths. Third line in the same path.
Look at this. You change your perception. Look at this. While after looking at this, look at this. You will change your perception.
And both the
Now,
side are opposite paths.
yeah. See, because we have kept some arrows, this you are not able to identify that they are common fate. They are moving as along. But this one you can feel that they are moving along in the same direction, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is common fate. Generally, we see them while birds are moving. To sum it up, whatever we have in our textbook, these are the most important things according to Gestalt's theory principle: closure, common fate, continuation, similarity, foreground, proximity, and symmetry. So just remember them. You will understand what is continuation in spite of this is going ऊपर से नीचे जा रहा है ना, going inside and coming out. So continuation you can feel, but there is no continuation here. Even dots. So what is depth? Looking at it, can you say what is depth? Look at the image. Can you?
They are in zebra crossing. The car is coming.
Very nice. What else? Now tell me
And
about.
the car is far.
You are right. But what I'm asking you, depth perception. Now tell me, apart from zebra crossing, other things, depth perception, I said. Depth.
Don't know, sir.
Well, depth perception lets us see the 3D and judge distance it needed for tasks like driving or catching a ball. Without it, the world would seem flat. Won't you be, without knowing the depth, will you get down the staircase or climb up? It is very difficult. You can't step down. You'll fall down. People with, lesser 3D perception, they can't walk properly. We'll talk about them later on. So depth is very, very important. At the same time, depth perception has three important constraints. One is distance, then the depth, then size. Yeah, it is the mental. Distance is the mental process that human uses to estimate the size and distance of objects in their environment. You can see a car coming, you know what size of the car is. If it is 100 meters away, you know the size. You won't assume it as a small car, but you will feel that it is a big car. It may be 4 meter or 4.5 meter, but you are sure that it is a big car. You won't see it, say it is a small car coming, I can cross it. At the same time, it is the ability to perceive the world in 3 dimensions and judge the distance of the object. I'm telling you, 100 meters you are seeing the car. You are guessing the distance and how much size is the car how much fast it is coming. Can I cross the road or not? These are the things which comes to your brain when you see that car while crossing the road. It is the ability to perceive an object as being the same size despite the fact that the size of its retinal image changes depending on the distance from the observer. This is what I told you, right? So you have to judge all the things before crossing the road. If you can't judge it, suppose you have some issue about retina problem is there, or retinal disparity is there, it is very difficult for people with rods and cone problems are there. Their depth perception goes down. They can't cross the road easily. They need somebody's help. See, this will explain you what is depth. See, normal vision, 0 degrees angle we are looking at, straight line while standing. See, the only 10 degrees we can concentrate. Okay, if you are seated, 15 degrees angle you can see. This, can you see this? My cursor, I'm just moving the cursor.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah, this is normal sight. So up to 30 degrees, we can see the color variations, and above our forehead, 25 degrees, almost up to hair level, we can see colors. We can see discriminate the colors. Above that, limitation 50 degrees on top side, upper side, and that is above our forehead or hair. Then below it is 70 degrees. These things won't be clear, but yes, you can see, but they won't be clear. So non-visual cues. What are non-visual cues? I've given you this. I showed that there, but still again, for objects when you're looking like this, and here you will have a blind spot 15 degrees from the straight point where the light fall, both eyes 15 degrees. These are the convergence, is the coming close. You see, now you are looking at the computer, your eyes are converged to look the object very close and clear. You can see things. That is where conversion and accommodation, and that is what it means. See, you converge your eyes when you look at close objects, and you diverge to look distance, right? Accommodation, just remember, diverge means dilation also. Dilation means lightening the things. So accommodation, you accommodate more to focus on the closer objects. The amount of convergence and accommodation can be used as a cue for absolute depth for objects not too far away. So you definitely see entire colors. If you remember, there was a Tata TV sky ads were coming. Now I can see the peacock colors, so and so, everything. Child used to explain it. That was the depth, and we can feel the depth, and we can explain in-depth accommodation and convergence. Other things, what are binocular cues? To make use of binocular depth cues, an organism, that is animal, human being or animals, must have a binocular visual field, a region of overlapping visibility of two eyes. I'll try to show you here. And if at all you have some issues, retinal disparity is there, double image can occur. Double image or a little noticed feature of human binocular vision caused by non-convergence of the eyes. The eye outside the point of fixation, double vision or psychological diplopia is closely linked to the perception of depth in natural vision, as it is perceived property of very depending on the proximity and stimulus of the viewer. See, I'll tell you a simple example. Just put your thumb over here, something like that, in front of your eye, and look at some tree. Close one eye, then vice versa. Do it vice versa. Can you see the difference? If you are looking at far away objects, you can feel the clear difference. Now I'll show you with the example. if you close your eye, this is how it looks. Here, thumb. This variation, see, you can see house here. In this, you can't see. This is what? Definitely variation would be there, but these are certain things are negligible. These things we cannot see. If major disparity is there, yes, these things can be seen, and it's a major issue. Depth perception will not be there. 1 second, excuse me. Yeah, monocular cues. What is ocular? First, give me, I was telling you, ocular, monocular, and binocular. Now, tell you, close objects partly blocks the view of more distant objects. Occultation leads to percept of depth. So, I'll show you these things. Occultation also enables us to complete and recognize the objects. Occulation is closely related to the other perceptual phenomena such as transparency or illusion. Yeah. See, this is, see, the close object is blocking the things. So we feel illusion. We can feel that it is very far away. See, when one object partially blocks the another, the blocked object is perceived as being farther away. You can see it is far away. Leave out the sun. It is definitely far away, but we can feel that clouds are very close to us. Sun is far away. So aerial perspective, see, aerial perspective, the closer ones we can see in-depth colors and everything, but the farther one we can see them in gray shades. It won't be clear in gray shades, something like that. Haziness helps to perceive the distance. So linear perspective, parallel lines like railroad track seem to meet at the point as they recede into the distance. Objects far away appear close together, while near objects seems further apart. This perception develops later in children. See, you can see the vanishing point. This rail track is joining there. In fact, it is not joining. These are called illusions. This is what linear perspective. Now, same thing, different terminology. Anyway, you will understand. See, lights and shadows. Lights and shadows, we usually notice light coming from above. Like the sun, shadows from an object on other can show which is farther away. See, these things, light, because of the light, we can see they are very close and clear. Which are very, the shadows can be seen and they are very far away. That is what it meant. Familiar size. See, look at these Coke cans. You kept Coke can away 10 feet away or something like that. One can, our ability to judge the distance of an object relies on the familiarity of the size. This is demonstrated when we accurately estimate the distance of a known object like a Coke can placed 10 feet away. This is possible due to our memory of object standard size. We know the size and we'll perceive no matter what. We keep 10 feet away or 20 feet away, you'll say Coke 300 ml or 200 ml or 500 ml. You know the size, you'll feel, yes, this is. If somebody else presents something to you, you'll say this is fake. Because you used to that particular size and your perception is formed in a way that you will not accept the new thing. No matter where you keep it, you'll say that size is standard, 300 ml. That's it. So texture and density. Texture and density suggests that the objects appear more detailed when close and less detailed when far away. You can see haze are there, and they are very close, and you can see in the texture and details you see, but other things you can't see. That is what it meant. So movement and perception. See, this is this is very important. Apparent motion. Stationary objects can appear to move. Well, you would have been driving somewhere and you would have seen, while going in a bus, you would see objects moving. You are stationary, but objects are moving. This is an illusion of objects not actually moving. So I think you would have noticed it. And sometimes all these things you would be noticing in day-to-day life. Autokinetic movement, a visual field containing familiar objects, provided a stable framework against which relative motion may be judged. People often report that an isolated point of light in a dark room moving when it is not. The experience is known as autokinetic movement. So you went into a room with a torchlight and you throw lights on something, you see that light is moving, but in fact light is not moving, but you feel that it is moving. Won't you do that? Won't you observe it? Will you? Did you? You would have observed it anyway. Induced motion. This is nothing but, this phenomenon is also a small object appear to be moving. See, you would be looking at some what do you call waterfalls for at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You are watching a waterfall and you turn your vision towards your left or right and you see a small rock which is moving upwards where it is not moving, but you feel it. It is the waterfall induced a movement. So your eyes is perceiving the rock is moving up, but it is not. That is called induced. Similarly, frame of reference, we tend to use large surround as a stable frame of reference. Example, we sometimes feel our train is moving when it actually train alongside ours that is moving. See, we are sitting or standing or we are sitting in a train which is not moving. We feel the other train, we see the other train stable, but we are moving. When you're what I mean to say, you're sitting in a train waiting for the train to move, depart, but it is not moving. But all of a sudden when you look at the other train, you feel that your train is going, but actually it is not going, and you look at the platform side, train is stable. This is called frame of reference. Perception of slow movement, yes, certain times you see perception of slow movement is you can see that a clock. Take a example of a clock. Will you notice hour's needle moving? You can feel that it has moved, but will you notice it is moving? It won't. As you notice the seconds or minutes needle moving, you will not notice hour's needle moving that easily. Reference, see, you can perceive it, but you can't see moving. Perception of fast movement, yes, you see some things just move away, like you're sitting very close to the Formula 1 car race, taking a video, and you see just a noise, zoom, but won't you see, will you see the car?
No, sir.
Maybe you may notice color sometimes, but will you see details, anything? Nothing you can see.
Yes,
That
sir.
is called perception of fast movement. So these are all some of the movement of perceptions. I think movement of perception, apparent motion, especially apparent motions are used in film technology. All the stable images of films are there. All these things are kept together, and they're with a 24 frames per minute. When you move it, automatically you see the image moved. That is called apparent motion. Relative visual motion, autokinetic movement. This one, see, images are. This is also similar to the movie. Now it is digital anyway. Digital movies. Previously, earlier they were reels put together, and it is to move in a systematic way so that we see screen as moving and actors are acting. Images are printed still, but we see them moving. So induced what is this? Sorry. A visual field containing familiar objects provided stable framework against the relative motion of may be judged. people often report that an isolated point of light in a, sorry, I've completed this, right? Acha, to give an example, yeah, this one, train. This is a fixation point. We see this is moving. 1 second. Yeah, look at this image towards your left for at least 30 seconds. There I mentioned 60, but you see for 30 seconds. $15 seconds. Now look at the image towards your right. What do you see? What do you see?
We could
Well,
see a face.
face, but it is moving upwards.
Yes, sir.
No, it will be moving upwards. You look at it for at least 60 seconds, then you look at this image, you see face moving up where it is stable. Anyway, you concentrate on it, then you will understand. Anyway, so what is, perceptual constancies, shape constancies, size, activity, color, brightness. So we are running short of time. Please go through these things. I need to complete other units too. I've given examples. I'll try to complete them as early as possible. See, what is shape constancy? You know the door, how it looks, no matter how you open it, what position, what angle it is, but you still perceive it as a door, no matter how far you are looking at it. So that is the constancy. Size, yes, size you know, shape you know. Then activity, what does it do? Everything. Color, no matter it is light or dark, you will understand. Apart from hues and saturations, you will understand it is somewhat red or blue or something, etc. Brightness, lightness remains the same, even the light condition changes. This is what all these things mentioned here. So factors influencing context and set effects, needs and motives, social and cultural, cognitive style. These I've given them. Past experience based on your experience. If we have had a positive experience, definitely we'll experience. For example, you eat something and you have if that tastes good, you will form a good opinion about that. Wherever you go, you see that food has positive and very good. Similarly, education, levels of education also influences your perception. Say, for example, I have given a abstract painting, and I know I'm an artist. I can see that, oh, this is okay, right? This is looking good. Color combination is good. When the same painting is shown to somebody else, they may say, "Okay, what is this? No meaning." Just like there is one movie in Telugu. It's somewhat funny anyway.
Upiri,
Values.
sir. Movie name Upiri.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Upiri, abstract painting. They're a great example, even given in that movie. Thank you. So culture also influences your perceptions. For example, let us talk about the values. Someone who values sustainability might perceive a product made from recycled materials more positively than the who doesn't share the value. Our cultural background can greatly influence the perception. Different cultures have different norms, beliefs, and values, all of which can shape our how we perceive the world. Now, preconceived notions. I'll give you example. Rest you can see. For example, if we have a negative bias towards certain group of people, we might perceive them negatively regardless of their individual characteristics. Right? Now present circumstances, yes, if we are in a bad mood, or we might perceive neutral events also negative. Mood nahi hai, chalo and you say that you will not accept, even that's a good. A child comes to you with excitement, your mood is not good, you will just not perceive it. Whatever he is saying, you will not enjoy it, though it is enjoyable. So there, your present circumstance changes your tackling the child, his perceiving things. Personal characteristics, yes. Example, an optimistic person might perceive a situation more positively than a pessimistic person. Then characteristics of target. Okay, example, we might perceive brightly colored objects as more effective and interesting than the dull colored ones. So what color most of the people buy? Most people
Because
buy,
we already have a perception of this dull color is not good and that color is.
yeah. So most probably people tend to, nobody want to judge us, so we will buy white color. If at all people have, mostly red color is brought mostly, and some European countries they use blue color. So white is universally brought color, and black is known as the luxury color. So the sum it up, please go through. Entire chapter is summed up in a simple summary. Just go through it, and now see, these are the yellow ones are most important questions. There are chances you may have them in your exams. Now let us go into the other topic.
Sir, one doubt.
Yeah,
This is the last class, sir.
yeah. This one is last.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now let me share the other one too. Yeah. I'm not getting share option. Yeah, now. So let us talk about emotions. This is a very important chapter, and you would, if you know your emotions, you can do wonders. So I'm skipping this. You can identify these emotions, don't you? What are these emotions? Can you please guess?
Yeah, first one is smiling. Second one is little dull. Third one is surprising. Fourth one is calm. Fifth one is crying.
Crying and
It's like that.
Very good. But they have some names. We'll check them one by one. See, why we should know about emotions? Why? Emotional awareness helps us to know what we need and want. It helps us to build better relationships. That's because being aware of our emotions can help us talk about feelings and more clearly, avoid or resolve conflicts better, and move past difficult feelings more easily. So emotions are very important for any individual. Your dog look at you, what emotions, what mood you are, and it comes to you based on your mood, your emotional, your what you are expressing. These things are noticed by everybody, not just you. These are some of the emotions. So they are majorly you have primary and secondary, and we have 6 emotions, and I'll tell you. So what general terminology, what is emotion? Emovera is in our books it is given emovera. So emotion derived from a Latin word which means stirred up or excite. So emotion is excited state of an individual, and it is purely a private expression. It's not there are universal emotions, but this is private experience. An emotion is full body mind behavior response to the stimulation. Look at this, a boy, what is he doing?
he is in excitement and smiling.
Joyful excitement,
Yes, sir.
is completely living that moment, right? The emotion is defined, see, this is dictionary meaning. Now the meaning, what we can define. Emotion is defined as a subjective response that is usually accompanied by physiological changes and associated with changes in behavior, stirred up state of an organism. That's what Woodworth said. What is an emotion again? It's a subjective, physiological, and behavioral or expressive response. Subjective, this refers to the internal feeling associated with an emotion. It is the way we personally experience emotion. For example, feeling joy, fear, sadness, anger, etc. Physiological, emotions are accompanied by physical changes in our bodies. These can include changes of heart rate, hot, sweating, our body sensation. When we feel fear, your heart might race and your palms may become sweaty. Behavioral expression, behavioral responses, emotions influence our behavior and how we express ourselves. We we display emotions through both verbal and non-verbal cues. For instance, smiling when we happy and frowning when we are sad. Nature. Now look at these emotions. What is the nature and characteristics of emotions? They are universal, aren't they? They
Yes,
are
sir.
universal, they're personal and unique. They're universal, but they're personal and unique. Just don't say everybody smiles the same way. Smiling is different from every individual has different characteristics. Construction is different. Their genetical variations would be there, so many things, but emotion is same, but they they exhibit it in a different way. Emotions rise abruptly but subside slowly. Emotions are the product of our perceptions. They're not just emotion, they're products of our perceptions, right? The same emotion can be aroused by a number of different stimuli, object, and situation. A smile, just one smile, you are going to smile at only one thing or one act. You will be smiling whichever makes you smile based on your perceptions. That is what it meant. Whenever organism is experiencing an emotion, lot of energy is released. When you smile a lot, when you laugh a lot of calories are burnt. For crying, no, very lesser calories are burnt. You laugh loudly and freely, about double the number of calories burnt when you cry compared to crying. So
Yes, sir.
emotions bring about physical and physiological and psychological changes in organism. Each emotion has certain definite muscular and overt behavior. Muscular, when you smile, you see your muscles moving. Overt, what you see, what people perceive you. Types of emotions: positive, negative, primary emotions, and secondary. Positive, which, for example, happiness, joy, curiosity, etc. Negative emotions: fear, angry, jealous. Unpleasant emotions, emotional experience, it doesn't produce any beneficial effects. In fact, they produce negative effect in bodily. Chemical exchange will have negative effect in our body. So positivity is always good. Primary emotions, these are direct emotions, reactions to the situations, and they are called primary because they come first. Happiness, fear, shame, sadness, etc. Secondary emotions response to the primary, that is worry, anxiety, anger, jealous. You heard somebody with anxiety is happy? Never. Worry, never. So negative will produce negative stress hormones in your body, which negatively affects heart, hair, everything. So component, what is the component of emotion? Emotion, so many components. Whatever, significant event, automatically how responses move. These are all interconnected, nothing separate. Feelings, bodily arousal, social expressive, and a sense of purpose. Check this image, you will understand. I've put them very clearly. Then development of emotions. Emotions develop excuse me. Human behavior undergoes a developmental pattern leading to change as an individual matures from childhood to adulthood. These quantities are influenced of social, cultural, experiential. I think McDougall has given a concept. I put this in a different way. I'll show that. Then James Lang's theory, John Watson. These are very important people in emotional theories. What they said, Catherine Bridge has given a beautiful example. I'll show them. Just go through this. Just 1 second. 1 second. Excuse me. I'll just, hello. నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్న తర్వాత కాల్ చేస్తా. So just go through these slides. You will understand. I have kept them, very precise and clear. So I'm sure I'm running short of time. If the university permits us, we'll just go in depth. See, these changes can be quantitative, influenced by social, cultural, and experiential factors. These patterns of development also applies to emotions. McDougall's concept suggests that emotions are instinctual and innate. They'll just come and they're inborn, he said, innate. James Lang's theory said supports that view to some extent, suggesting a specific pattern of bodily reactions for each emotion. So I'll show you some images. I'll show you. John Watson, a behaviorist, identified these 3 basic emotional patterns in infants: fear, anger, love, which he believed to be inherited. He said fear, anger, love are inherited, inborn. पैदा होते ही आ गया उनको. That's what he said. Fear can be triggered by loud noise or loss of support, anger by restricting movement, and love by stimulating certain bodily zones. This I have given you here. See, as child grows, how emotions are developed, development of emotions. Right from the 3rd month, you see children can read the face expressions of the caregiver. These are the patterns how children acquire emotions. Up to 6 years. This is German. I've collected this image from their report. So this is how emotional vocabulary also increases. It all depends upon the parent and the caregiver. It doesn't mean only mother or father. It can be ayah, it can be sister, whoever is taking care of the child for longer time. They acquire those emotions or their way of expressing. Children from looking at the caregiver, then the peer group, then the teacher, then the people surrounding them. This is how emotions, perceptions are formed simultaneously. Now the other slide. This is what I was talking about. She has given a beautiful example. If a child with excitement, if it is encouraged, he is delightful, he is delighted, they form affection, elation, affection for the children, affection for adults, and joy. All these things are positive side of the emotion. When it is discouraged, distress, directly jealousy, subproducts anger, disgust, fear, and their subproduct fear, anxiety, shame. These are all the negative and positive side of the emotions. Children get them right from the birth, you can say, while looking at caregiver. From the 3rd month onwards, they form all these emotions. They acquire them by looking at the caregivers attention, how they are responding to the child. That's how they form their emotions. Otherwise also they'll form emotions. You'll say, kya hai, what is this? He's emotionless. No response. So they have detachment. child with negative, they always, envy, disappointment. With the positive, they are excited, joyful, and they have hope. No matter what situation they are in, they show hope in their activities or their words and things. They can become good motivators. So differentiation of emotions. Emotions are different. This is very right. I have given them differently. Emotions, differentiation is a complex task, and numerous emotions involved in the process. The aim it is excluded distracting or irrelevant emotions, focusing on those relevant. Many people conducted different tests. They could identify easily the major emotions with the help of photographs. They conducted different tests. Yes, they identified all our world major emotions were identified. I'll tell you, these are the emotions which were identified easily, and between the disgust and anger, they had some, yeah, I think, yeah, surprise and, 1 second, disgust, emotion in blind. This you don't know, need to know. Darwin's theory said, yeah, Darwin said, proposed as an evolutionary theory of emotions in his book of the expressions of emotion in man and animal. He suggested that many ways the expressing emotions are inherited patterns with some survival values. So he said, based on the survival values also, based on the survival values only, emotions are emoted. That is not just human beings, animals also, he said. Expression of disgust. The expression of disgust is in an organism attempts to rid itself of something unpleasant. It is often accompanied by frown and gesture, as if to push away or guard oneself against the offensive object. This is disgust. Look at this, how the face, feelings, everything. Facial expressions have universal meanings across the different cultures. Photographs of the facial expressions depicting emotions like happiness, anger, sadness, disgust, fear, and surprise were easily identified by the members of 5 different cultures. Psychological changes. See, these are the psychological, physiological changes. Sorry, intense emotions like fear, anger can cause bodily changes. These include rapid heartbeat, increase of muscle tension, and perspiration, and it activates sympathetic division of autonomic nervous system, and activation prepares for body to emergency actions. Example, when you see a car, go out of control, automatically what will you do? You get confused, fear, so many things occur simultaneously. At that time, peripheral nervous system, central nervous system, they automatically start processing things. So automatic nervous system regulates body functions consisting of sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for intense activity, fight or flight response by increasing heart rate, breath rate, sweat production, and adrenaline flows. Adrenaline, where it is located and where it is released, you forgot anyway. Parasympathetic nervous system supports non-emergency functions such as reducing heart rate and promoting digestion. Parasympathetic, which is, controls, regulates. Sympathetic, which, excites. Simple. Sympathy is opposite parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is, regulating non-emergency functions such as reducing heart rate, all these things. Both systems are always active to maintain body balance, with one dominating based on the situation. Emerging activities, 1 second. Yeah, here. When the signal is received like this, automatically all these things process go on internally. Amygdala gives response immediately. External response is shown. Amygdala gives responses. Fear or fight or flight is done by this. All these things involved, not just amygdala. All these things. Just go through it. So physiological changes, given them with cut short things. See, anger. This is no neutral body, normal. You can say normal. This one, you see my pointer, this is normal. So this one is normal. These are the changes, bodily changes occurring: fear, disgust, happiness, completely excited. See, happiness is completely excited with hormones and functions. Other things, see, half of the body, where heart is affected, anger, fear, heart, where it is acting, emotion. Just check these things, you will understand. I've simplified this and given. Check this: anger, heart rate up, fingers sweating, and finger temperature goes up, skin conduction also goes up, muscle activity down. Fear, this up means goes down, finger temperature goes down, skin conduction up, muscle activity up. Sadness, arrow up means temperature raise, down means lowers. Surprise, 0 heart rate. Surprise, fingers temperature goes up, skin conduction goes up, muscle activity goes down. For easy information, I have presented it like this. Check it. So we are coming to the last part. So James Lang theory, I represented them. I'll show all the things combined together. This is James Lang's theory. Go through it. This is Cannon-Barth theory. Just go through it. Sishner's and Singer's theory, all put together. This one. Sight of oncoming car. Perception of stimulus. Cannon-Barth theory says this one. Pounding heart arousal, fear emotion automatically shown. And James Lang, they both said, pounding heart, then fear of emotion. Here they said at the same time emotion exhibited. Heart, fear. Here first heart rate, heart beating increases, then fear arises. Whereas Skeshner and Singer's theory, two-factor theory says pounding heart, then cognitive level, I am afraid, then emotion. To simplify all the theories, I kept them here as a image. This image represents all the theories at a place. Just look at it. This is the summary. Even they go through this summary, you will understand most of it. So now coming to the model paper. The yellow ones are very, very important. James Lang theory. Yeah, this is also good. Just remember the images. When it is there in the YouTube, please pause the video, check it. You will understand. Okay, now I'm moving to the next one. Next one, just wait a second. Yeah. In fact, I want to spend a lot of time because time is a constraint. I cannot, spend a lot of time or ample time on each slide. So please go through the YouTube videos, pause it, then read it. That's the reason I'm at least having each slide for at least 10 to 15 seconds. Anyway, now let us start unit 11, motivation. Okay, oh, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, unit. Yeah. Motivation. Now let us talk about motivation. What do you understand by motivation? Okay, I'll show you. So motivations are two types. One is internal, the other one is external. You will come to know about it in later on. So motivation is the key concept in psychology, is an internal state that drives an individual to act and persist. What is this? 1 second. Motivation is individual goal towards the towards a goal. It varies in direction, a choice among the alternative, latency, time taken to start an action, intensity, effort put in, and persistent continuity. So the level of motivation is not constant. It varies among individuals and within an individual over a time. Understanding motivation involves studying its aspects, types of motivation, and theories like McDougall's theory of instincts, Freud's psychoanalytic theory, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've presented them in a image form. You already seen them in basic 1 to 3 chapters, but again I'll repeat them here. What is the meaning of motivation? Motivation is an internal process that drives, guides, and maintains behavior towards achieving a goal. Motivation is nothing but move. Now, definition. Motivation is referred to as referred in psychology as a process that starts, directs, and sustains goal-oriented behavior. It includes the biological, emotional, social, and cognitive forces that drives behavior in the direction of meeting needs or achieving objectives. And Kelly has given a statement definition about motivation. Motivation has to do with the forces that maintain and alter the direction, quality, and intensity of the behavior. Motivation and Middlesmith and Hick has given a different definition, which is similar to the above. Motivation referred to the willful desire to direct one's behavior towards the goal. They are all similar but presented in a different manner. Motivational process, this is important, simple one. To make you understand, I've given a simple one. Look at this, you will understand. Need arises automatically. That need drives you. Goal directed behavior, then goal achievement, drive reduction. What drives your motivations? Need and how it is driving. This is how. Need drives you, arousal occurs, then goal directed behavior, then you achieve that goal, then the drive subsides. For suppose you want to you're feeling hungry, so what makes you sit there and eat, nothing is there, but you're hungry. Will that serve your purpose? You have to go, if at all you can cook, go cook. That all these things, that is nothing but motivation. What is motivating? Hunger. Hunger is motivating to do all these actions. Types of motivation. How many types are biological? In general, we have biological, psychosocial, and general. Biological motives include needs like hunger and thirst. Psychosocial motives encompasses social needs such as power and affiliation. General motives involve curiosity and exploration. Psychologists often divide these both into two categories: primary and secondary, biological and physiological, psychosocial motives. So primary motives, like I said, hunger needs food to sustain energy levels. Thirst need water to maintain hydration. Pain avoidance, instincts avoid injury or discomfort. need for require oxygen for respiration, sexual needs, drive for reproduction or pleasure, maternal needs, instincts of a mother to care for her offspring. These motives are innate and universal among all the humans. They are triggered by physiological imbalance and aim to maintain the body homeostasis. This is nothing but body homeostasis is nothing but maintaining body temperature, heartbeat, all these things, maintaining the balance, temperature of the skin, internal organs, all these things are maintained. These are important to maintain the body's homeostasis. Secondary motives, secondary or the physiological and psychosocial motives are most directly linked to biological survival, but learned as acquired or through the individual social experience. For example, achievement, the drive to accomplish goal or demonstrate competence, affiliation, the need for social connection and relationships, all these things. So power, the desire to influence, control and dominate others, belongingness, the need for accepted and fit into a group, curiosity, to learn, desire to learn, explore, understand new things. These motives can vary greatly among the individuals and cultures, and they often shape our personal interests, ambitions, and social interactions. They can also influence our choice and behavior significantly. The same things are presented them differently. Intrinsic and eccentric. Eccentric motivations. Example, studying for the test. You get grade A or to avoid grade F. Behavior maintained by eccentric motivation will not be effectively sustained once the reward is removed. Grades nikal diya to what will happen? Will you have the same zeal to study? No. That is why behavioral levels may be lower than before the rewards was given. Unless and until you want to study, you will not study. Grades, if somebody is aiming for grades, definitely they will read. Otherwise, grades are removed, then kaun sa bhi padho, we are going to pass, chalo.
Right, sir.
That is the reason we are having grades. Now,
Yes, sir.
intrinsic, a desire to perform a behavior for own sake. खुद के लिए, we do it for ourselves. Internal satisfaction has an edge over eccentric motivation in some areas, especially creativity, tend to result in higher achievements. For example, see, this guy want to win a cup, become number one. He is, playing, giving his best. This guy want to give, simply just want to enjoy. Motivated to perform an activity for own sake, personal rewards. I feel enjoyed, so I'm playing. That's what this guy feels. The other guy feels, I have to win to get that prize. This is extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. So theories of motivation. McDowell's theory of instincts, Freud's psychoanalytical theory, Maslow's theory. McDougall said, he is a psychologist. William McDowell was one of the foremost to report on the instinct theory of motivation. Definition, instincts means it need to be unlearned. Unlearned means without learning, you should perform those motivation. No, without being learned. Like you have hunger, what will you do? Something you have to eat, right? You'll grab something and eat it. So it is not learned. It came inborn. Motivation is intrinsic. Uniform in expression. This means that the behavior is expressed in the similar way in all individuals of the species. Same action is performed everywhere. All the species, entire human race is done this act similarly. Universal in species. This means that these behaviors are not unique to individuals or groups within the species, but are instead a fundamental part of the species nature. This is common. It's a fundamental. Eat, they do it similar, everything similarly. This is not specific to group or species. Group in a species, I mean group within the species or anything. It is common for everyone, individual, universal. Three fundamental elements of instincts: perception, behavior, and emotion. Perception refers to individual's attention to stimuli that is relevant to instinctual purpose. Behavior, it involves action that satisfies intentional purposes. Emotion, it involves both positive and negative. I think you need to check this. He has given about, basically they were only 12, then it has gone up to 18. These are the emotions they, what is this? Motivations, different types of things they have given: hunger, sex, maternal, paternal instincts, laughter, sleep, migration, curiosity, all these things, go through them. I've precisely small, I've given them, which gives entire meaning. Just go through this. If it is coming in between, yeah. Just go through this, you will understand. I'm running short of time, please. So Sigmund Freud psychoanalytical theory, he has given id ego is nothing, id ego superego. Based on that, he proposed some other theories: eros and what is it, the life instincts and death instincts. So example, the behavior of the bird building a nest is an example of instinct. It is not dependent on any previous actions or experience, unlike a reflex or a habit. For instance, withdrawing your hand immediately after touching a hot object is a reflex, not instinct. So this is important. So Freud's theory says life instincts are those instincts that causes us to seek pleasure. That includes engaging in sex activity, eating, and other activities like to be alive. Other activities to be alive. Death. Freud theorized that these instincts represent our unconscious impulses towards self-destruction or harm. That includes engaging in aggressive behavior like fighting, stunts, and not caring about the survival. If you go through Sigmund Freud's basic theory, id, ego, superego, you can see these things, you can understand. Anyway, I'm going to show you in the other slides. Maslow's hierarchy is very, very famous. There are chances you'll get this in the exam. These I've represented them in a diagram. Same, everybody says physiological, safety, love, belongingness, esteem, self-actualization. Self-actualization is what, highest level of Maslow's hierarchy, and refers to realization of the person's potential, self-fulfillment, seeking personal growth or peak experience, etc. Once they achieve this place, they will not work for money. They work for joy, pleasure. They want to learn something new for their pleasure, something like that. This is the Maslow's hierarchy of theory of motivation theory. So once he is satisfied with biological and physiological needs, then he thinks about the safety, then psychological needs, then self-fulfillment. I've given with examples. What is biological? Food, sleep, water. And physiological also, these things I've given them. Just, please go through them, you will understand. So there we come to the end. Summary, just 1 second. Go through this summary. Brief description of the process of motivation is very important. I have given represented with the example and examples. This is very important. Then explain self-esteem needs of Maslow. This is also very important. Process of motivations, types of motivations, and Maslow's theory of I have already given you. Yeah. So this is very important. Please go through your exams. Videos, and prepare well for your exams. And all the very best. And we'll see you in the practical sessions. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, students. Thank you. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
any doubts you have? We'll have 5 minute session, then we'll disconnect. So,
No doubt, sir.
okay. Thank you so much, everyone. See you in practical classes. All the very best for your exams.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.